This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hey everybody, now I'm going to put this in front of the video. The video was up for a few minutes and I realized that when I watched the video back, I forgot to add in something that was very, very important. My top 10 is going to stay the same, but that you're going to see going forward here. But the biggest problem here is that there are three really big games that are going to probably, if we do this again next year, are going to be in there. Okay, and that's Darklight Memento Mori, which I'm just starting to finish working on a number of the boss pack and everything to get it painted so we can play it. Downloaded everything, and I'm really looking forward to this because they say it's a lot like Warhammer Quest. Alter Quest, which I got to get more reps in, and the big one that I really think is going to make a huge impact, Dungeon Universalis. It doesn't fit in to my greatest because I don't have enough reps with it. And plus I'm waiting to see what the 1.5 does. All the changes. How much better that's going to make that game. Now, these three games are fantastic dungeon crawls, but they just can't qualify for this list because I haven't played them enough. And it's not fair to put something in there that you haven't played enough and got a good feel for it. Am I going to love it to begin with, but then go, oh, well, you know, there are better things. You don't learn until you get enough reps in. And I think that is one of the most important things, and where people make a lot of mistakes. A lot of people, there's games that are coming out now. People go, oh, this is the greatest game. This is everything I've ever wanted. And yet probably 3 or 4 months from now, they're going to go, well, you know something? After I played it 10 or 15 times, no. It doesn't. Sometimes we get hyped up for things and we don't let them sink in and see where they really fit in our model. And that's why before this video goes off, I wanted to add this little piece in. Alright, without further ado, on with the video. Hey everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Today, I'm doing something a little bit different, okay? I am going to do this off the top of my head. So that means I may forget things, but I always felt that if I was ever going to do a list, that I would do it from the top of my head, because that's what's on your mind at the time. And when I started jotting things down, and I did this in the last minute and a half here, I decided to go with what I know here. Now I'll probably miss things like I left something off the chart here that I really liked, that I think is good, but it just doesn't fit with these great games, and that is Dungeon Saga. I actually left that off, and then I started trying to figure out, well, what qualifies as a dungeon crawler? What is the best dungeon crawler? I think fantasy. So I tried to leave out Mansions of Madness, Kingdom Death Monster, Madeira, because it's a little bit different than a dungeon crawler. I think it's more of a Japanese anime RPG, so I left that off. So when you hear this list, it really comes down to what I felt, and which doesn't mean anything, but I figured I'd put this out here and see what you guys think as far as the list is concerned. And number 10 is Descent 2nd Edition. Now a lot of people are saying, well, why is this so low? This game is better than that. The 2nd edition I didn't care for that much. I think the 2nd edition, once it got the app help, it did a lot better. But then you're playing an app, and I found that when I played the 2nd edition, it was more of a runaround against time instead of a true dungeon crawl. So you'll see why I said 2nd edition later on. But at number 10 is definitely Descent 2nd edition. At number 9 is actually a card game. And I like it quite a bit. I wish they made more of it. I always enjoyed it, and that's Dungeoneer. You could still get it on Amazon. It's actually a lot of fun. We did it live here on the channel if you want to check it out. Just look up Rob's Tabletop World and Dungeoneer, and boom, should pop up. And you can get a feel how much fun that game is. It plays very well solo. It also plays great as a cooperative, a competitive game. People against each other, and you're doing so much, and you're trying to get through. It's just a lot of fun, and there's so many different decks that do so many different things. At number 8 for me was the D&D box sets. Now, when I first started getting back into gaming, that's all that there was. Wrath of Azurlan, which is right over there, matter of fact, if I point to it. Wrath of Asharlan, Castle Ravenoff. All those, while very simplistic, it gave you D&D in a box, and figures, and crawling through dungeons, and missions, and campaigns, and just, for me, it's home. Is it outdated now? Kinda, if you really think about it. They came out with one not too long ago. I think it was Armageddon, which was pretty good. Tomb of Annihilation, maybe that's what it was. I love that one too. But have there been better things that came out? Absolutely. At number 7 is an old classic, but when you really think about it, it's very simple, but it is still a classic game in my heart of hearts, and that's Hero Quest. Hero Quest is absolutely probably one of the cornerstones of Dungeon in a Box, as simple as it can be. At number 6, and especially with the new edition coming out, going back to number 7 there, the new edition coming out, they're going to upgrade everything. It's going to be fantastic. And I think the thing I'm most excited for is that people are going to be able to experience something that they experienced in their childhood with their children. And I think that's just fantastic without paying an arm and a leg on eBay. At number 6 is a game that doesn't come in a box, but it is a true dungeon crawl. I mean, I could have added Dungeons and Dragons here, but I didn't. But I think what you get here is just amazing. It's a print and play. It is D100 Dungeon. What a fantastic experience. And when you want to talk about dungeon crawls, that is the epitome of dungeon crawling and getting better, the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen. Being able to play it solo without a GM and that kind of stuff. So I was kind of torn adding another one on here, but I felt that because of my love for dungeon crawls and this game here really deserves to be in here. Number 5, I put this at 5. It's probably one of the most popular games in the world right now, and that's Gloomhaven at 5. The reason being, it's more of a Euro dungeon crawl, but it has so many different elements. It's really a lot of fun. I think it's fantastic. I can't wait for Frosthaven to come. But Gloomhaven, for me, I just don't get that true dungeon crawl feel out of it. So it stays at number 5. I can't explain it. I wish I could. Again, it's my opinion. A lot of people are going to disagree and say that Gloomhaven is probably the greatest game that was ever made. You might be right, but for me, it sits at number 5. At number 4, Andrea and all the stories that go with it it's 4 Against Darkness. Print and play that's absolutely fantastic. To me, a fantastic, glorious dungeon crawl. It just does so much. It's great. I love the system. It's easy to play solo. It's easy to play with a group of people. And for me, just a great, fantastic experience, and it's something that I really think that everyone should try. Everybody that sees this video should just go out and go to DriveThruRPG and just download it. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. At number 3 is Descent First Edition. Now, to me, that was the greatest edition of all. and it felt like a dungeon crawl. It introduced us to a whole new world. I believe they, oh God, it's blocked by a box. But Fantasy Flight really did a fantastic job by putting this out. I think this is a fantastic thing. And if you can get that long box, I tell you, you won't be disappointed. The components are beautiful. The miniatures are beautiful. The story, the expansions are fantastic. The compilation book that comes with it, so much fun. So much fun. And I wish they would just go back to that, but times change, my friends. And so do I guess. At number 2 is Folklore. I put this one in here because it does have a lot of fantasy elements into it, and I absolutely love this game. You can see some of our live plays with Jeremy, Robert, and Julie. We did it live. She created some stories for it. I can't wait for the next edition to come out, which should be any day now. Folklore is going to be a masterpiece, and one that, if you haven't played it, you need to play it. The figures are beautiful. The story is beautiful. The game is a lot of fun. I enjoy it, at least. Some people think it's too tedious. For me, I just have I think I've played it more than a lot of games, except for our number 1 game. Now, one of my biggest disappointments in life is that when Warhammer Quest Silver Tower came out, it was nothing like the original Warhammer. I was hoping that they would bring back that element. It wasn't. I like Silver Tower, and I like Blackstone Fortress and everything that goes with it, and the system that they created, but it isn't Warhammer Quest. It has some elements, but it isn't Warhammer Quest. My all-time favorite is Warhammer Quest, the original edition. The game just has so much replayability. All the couple expansions that they came out, there is an actual site that you can print out different tiles, different cards, add enemies. There's a role-playing book that you can actually use with everything. It is the quintessential, it gives you everything that you can ever want. And Warhammer Quest will always be my favorite dungeon crawler of all time. And that's just me here, sitting here, thinking about this and putting little criterias, but opening the door for others, such as for A&D and D100. To me, all these games are just fantastic. I love each and every one of them in their own way. Hey, Descent, even at 10, I still like, but I just don't think it's as great. And I left Dungeon Saga out. I just think it's too... There's always something missing when I'm playing it, and I always wonder why. But I do like the game. I put that at 11. I probably put Silver Tower at 12. Shadows over Helheim or whatever at 13. You know, and this is, you know, I always believe that doing a list off the top of your head is how you truly feel in your heart. You may forget things, but why did you forget them? If you were able to put 10 things down and think of the greatest thing, Mice and Mystics, another great game, but doesn't make that top 10 because these are my, at least, quintessential top 10 games. So I hope you enjoyed this, and something to pass a little time, especially since we're not going to be doing much today, but I guarantee you that we will be back soon with a whole bunch of more videos as I heal up here. I hope you enjoyed this. My greatest dungeon crawls of all time. You know, let's face it, the greatest of all time is really Dungeons and Dragons, but that's kind of a different thing than what we have here. I don't know. You can argue it. Argue it in the comments. Always leave a comment. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon.